So how does back-to-back Premier League victories sound and feel this afternoon?
Yeah, obviously, it feels good. Both well earned for different reasons. And I think the reason it feels good is the performance levels, though. Not, we haven't lucked out in the last 6 games. We've played very well in all of them. The first half against Man U, they were better than us. But the second half, we were very strong. And I think that's probably the only half where we've come away from our performance levels. So I've been really pleased with that side of things. And then, you believe in the performance level of the players over a season, and then they've got, earned the right for the last 2 back-to-back wins. And I think there's more. I'd have took 2 lucky ones, I make it clear, but it's more enjoyable when the team have earned it by their performances.
You often say, never get too up when you're winning, never get too down when you're losing. But last night we saw Antonio Conte, after the 4th defeat in 5 for them, say that he has to talk to the club. He's too honest to close his eyes and continue in this way and also take his salary. I just wonder, are they feelings that you've ever experienced as a manager? And I suppose, how do you kind of get through times like that?
Look, I can't speak for other managers. They all have their own situations. I don't know what the situation is in there. He's a very experienced manager. He's won, many things, and he's worked with some of the top players, certainly in Europe, if not the world. So he'll have a feeling of why his words are what they are. I certainly wouldn't throw an opinion on that. In my experience, it's a tough job, and the only thing I would say is it's weirdly kind of, I don't know what the word is, it's quite levelling when you see managers of his level still finding the job tough, still finding the challenges that come with it. And, because you do forget it is a tough job, even for some of the most experienced managers out there. It's still a tough job, it's still a tough ask at times. And he's obviously feeling that, I don't know, maybe the team are not how he wants it, or the club, or whatever. I don't know, but he'll have his own explanations on that. Certainly not for me to explain, other than my respect for managers like him.
But what gets you through tough times, Sean?
Just remembering the responsibility of what I have to do, remembering my responsibility to the club, remembering my responsibility to my players and staff, just the varying challenges that come your way. Experience helps, of course, or my personal experience in football as a player and a coach and a manager. Just staying steadfast to what you believe in. At the end of the day, you take a few knocks, you take a lot of opinion from the outside of what you do, but staying steadfast to what you truly believe. And I just do that. I just stay really steadfast to what I believe is right for my staff and the players here and for the club. And I try not to waver too far from it, whilst hoping to be flexible enough to continue learning and adapting to the challenge.
Antonio also said before the game that he was sure that you could save this season. So how sure are you at this moment?
I've never been not sure. I've never really overthought it. I've always believed in what the players are doing. I've always believed in the power of a group of people when noses point in the right direction, which they quite obviously are. And I've always believed in working to get things right, because you can work as hard as you want. I don't think we've been that far wrong all season, but we haven't got the points on the board. So the league doesn't lie. I equally believe in that. I don't stare at it, but it doesn't lie. You are where you are. But there are some slight mistruths along the journey, and I think we're probably not got the points that we've deserved over a season. We have to keep fighting for that, and you just hope over a season some of them ones that got away pay you back. We'll see. But no, the belief is always there in what we do.
We've touched over the last few weeks over the forward options that you have at the moment as well, Sean. Is this the best group of forwards that you've had at the club? And I suppose, what kind of a difference does that kind of selection, not problem, but the selections that you have, the decisions that you have to make up top, what difference do they make when you've been in this kind of situation?
Well, I mean, we've only just got Barnsley coming back fit. Vids has been in and out of fitness all season. J-Rod as well, COVID, bits of injury. So, it's been Woody really, and then Vout's come in and done very, very well. Maxwell adapting maybe from the number 10 role, sometimes wide. So, the variations are what you want as a manager. Particularly I work with, whether it's a soft striker or 2 out-and-out strikers, you want that variation, and I think when it comes together, it can be a powerful weapon. And I think we've used that wisely down the years. I like the shape of the team. I like how it works. I like how it operates. And when it's working well, like it has been the last sort of 6 games, I think it can be very effective. And I think the last 2 games particularly, with the quality of chance created, and taking chances, of course. And then, defensively, we've still shown a real strong base and what we work from. And I think it was there again last night.
Obviously, you've got a realistic chance of moving out of the bottom three this weekend. What difference would that make about the place psychologically?
No, they makes a radical difference. We are where we are. They've accepted that the challenge of that. If you go out of it, it's not the season done. Because you go out the bottom three, it's not the season done for anyone. Everyone knows that. So that's for everyone else to decide and talk about. I know when the season's done, and that's when that final whistle goes. So that's when it's important to be not in the bottom three.
And without meaning to get too far ahead of ourselves, you're obviously facing Palace now, 9 points behind them, yet you have 3 games in hand. Just saying, that's all.
Well done.
Shows how quickly things change though, Sean.
Yeah, but we all know that. 3 points can change the whole look of a season's work sometimes. It doesn't factually change the season's work, but it can change the look, it can change the rhetoric, change the feel around a story. I think our feel has suddenly changed from oh no to oh yes. Seems that way to me. People were texting me, people were telling me stories are out there, people were suddenly sending me better news than what they were sending me 5 weeks ago. And then the rhetoric changes, the storyline changes, the media changes, the social media changes. And then you get back to that kind of underdog spirit mentality, and everyone's saying, "Oh, Burnley, they're climbing again. They have this knack of coming out of it. They win games and all that sort of stuff." Well, they weren't saying that 6 games ago. That's just the way it is. So seeing through all the noise, getting on with the work that's right in front of you, that's what I tend to do, and that's what I want my players to do. And they're certainly showing very strong signs of doing that.
Come on, all the best, Sean. Cheers.
Cheers, thanks.
Thanks, Vinny. Crabbers?
Hey, Sean. You mentioned belief a couple of times in that chat there. Whenever we talk to the more senior pros who've been there a while, they seem to have that already. So I'm just wondering, A, do they need reminding? And B, do some of the younger lads need sort of to buy into that belief that, everything seems to be all right in the end?
Well, there's a lot of work that goes on for that sort of idea of everything seems to be right in the end. It doesn't just arrive at you. But the older group, they've maintained standards for a long time here. They understand the requirement of what we do, and they understand the requirement of the Premier League. We want that to rub off and all around, not necessarily the younger players, the new players we bring in as well. The culture, the environment that we've set, some fit hand in glove. Vouts just walked into it as if he's been here for years, the way he's accepted the challenge. Maxwell still continues to develop into it, mainly due to fitness ups and downs, to be honest, because he's a pleasure to be around the group. There's just 2 examples. Colo's gone out under the radar, but has been fantastic when he's played for us. Connor's now developing after having a real tough run of sort of niggly injuries and then a real worrying illness, actually, which he's come through really, really well and looking strong, and he's adapting to the challenge. And then you got that healthy group dynamic where everyone's challenging, everyone's working hard for their place, and respectful of the team that are playing, and then the return to the simplicity of performance. Jack Cork, I think, has returned to that again. 2 back-to-back very strong performances. Josh Brown very strong. Dwight McNeil looking strong again last night. The peaks and troughs of a season. You hope you don't have too many troughs, quite obviously. And all of a sudden, we've got a collective where more and more players are playing well again, and I think that's going to be an important factor going forward. On the back of our experience of the division, which is statistically we're very strong physically in the second half of seasons, and we are with points to return as well.
And while we're talking about sort of older and younger players, and while it's Crystal Palace as well, who I think had the oldest average last season, it's your turn this season to have the oldest starting 11 in the Premier League. How much does that matter anymore, given that a lot of the footballers, they look after themselves well? You've got your nutritionists and your fitness guys and all your stats. How important is age, or how relevant is age anymore?
It's only relevant if it becomes a problem. It's not a problem here. I believe in the fitness, the attitude of the players is paramount. The players look after themselves incredibly well nowadays, and the demands and the support systems at football clubs. I think Palace, I'm not sure, you can double check, but I think they've put 80 or 90 million into lowering the reduce of their squad, age of their squad, sorry. And it looks to me like they've done a good job of doing that, because it's not easy. Whether you put money in or not, it's not easy to get your recruitment right. But they look so far like they're getting that right. The new manager's gone in there and sort of organised it how he wants it, and they're looking like a decent outfit. So, there's no gimme, even when you're spending money. But when you're talking about lowering age bands and stuff like that, it takes a while, you know, unless you are going to put in 100 million or whatever, then it takes a while, you know, and then even if you do put that money, you've got to blend that team together. So we're trying to get the process right. It's taking a bit of time. We've got to work hard this season to stay in the Premier League. And then with players like Maxwell, players like Colo, players like Connor coming in, just blending that kind of experience with the newness and the edge, if you like, of a younger style of player who's got that freedom to go and play. And if you get that kind of combination right, then it works for your advantage, obviously. But I've never been ageist. I had Michael Duff here playing in the first team in the Premier League at 36, 37, and still learning his trade at that time. You know, the minutiae of what it is and the details. So, you know, I've never been worried about that. But obviously we do want a future. We want to continue in the Premier League and we want to keep layering up on that future. So there has to be a time when some of them players go to pastures new or it comes their time, like with Duffer.
And just one final one, if I may, just in terms of the players, just run through I think you had 5 who were either out or doubts. Matej, have you got, is he, now near is he now?
No, Matej is on the grass, but he's recovering with the sports science and the injury team still.
Ash Westwood?
Ash has cleared his he's cleared his protocols, so he's back in training today.
Maxwell?
Maxwell's foot injury, touch and go. We'll see how he is tomorrow. It's not a really serious one, but a bit sore still.
Johan and Charlie?
Johan's going to be a while. Not great news with Johan with a tear in his calf, so that's going to be a bit of time yet. Charlie will be back in and around the squad.
And any new ones from Spurs last night?
No, nothing from today. Just, you know, a few bumps and a few knocks. Obviously, today's been a recovery day, so we'll double check the fit list tomorrow morning.